Hello everyone, welcome to another Screencast feedback session. The question is the same. Some people think that personal happiness is directly related to economic success. This is the first view. The second view is others argue that happiness depends on different factors. And these are the two views. Discuss both views and give your own opinion. So as always, my students, so I will refer to you as you in the second person, so you have to discuss both views and also give your own opinion. These are the two main task requirements. So there's also another task requirement, which is to write at least 250 words. So you have written 288 words, so that's good. So let's start reading. Yes, it is true that some people think that personal happiness is directly related to economic success. Alright, there are two problems in this sentence, one a very minor one and one a very major one. The minor problem is that there should be a comma here. It's not a big problem at all. However, this entire part of the sentence is copy-pasted from the question, right? So this is a big no. You cannot do this. Never ever copy words or phrases from the question unless it is absolutely necessary. So what words are absolutely necessary that you can't go without copying? Of course, there are some articles like argue, or even like not articles but these words like that, on, right? So these words you have to copy. However, instead of others, or let me go to this example since you wrote this, some people you can say a few amount, like instead of some you can write something like people, or one side of the argument is that to be happy one most needs money or financial stability. So you see that I almost didn't copy one single word from the question. So you also have to paraphrase, you also have to write in your own words. So this is very important in the IELTS nowadays. So there should be a comma here. It's not a big issue. People living in the society think that economic prosperity is essential for the members of society. Okay, it's good. However, you have repeated the word society. I suggest you to write something else, like the members of a culture, the members of shared members of the society, right? People living together. Instead of people living in the society, you could have written people living together, and then here the society would be all right. Do not repeat words in sentence. Another thing is that you do not need the comma here. Alright, nowadays people living in the society think that economic prosperity, so there is no comma required. Not required. They think that they can find inner peace, so this is a good term. So you get extra points for vocabulary. Inner peace and pleasure and joy. Alright, so we do not use two ands in a sentence. It could have been comma here and an and here. Alright, do not use two ands in a sentence. Okay. In economic growth, so that is also a good phrase. Some individuals also think that happiness is closely connected to the amount of money we have, by which someone can easily have anything, such as fulfilling the need, big houses, cars, etc. Okay, so in speech, like when we talk, in English, when we speak in English, etc., etc. So this phenomenon of repeating a word is called reduplication. Okay, so it's actually a strategy in speaking. However, in writing, we do not do this. Alright, it's very informal. Do not repeat words together. There is another problem with the sentence, and there should be a comma here. Also, what need are you talking about? When we talk about the definite article, so articles are of two types, definite articles and indefinite articles, right? Indefinite articles are a and an, and the is a definite article. So what need are you talking about? You have not defined this need. You have not mentioned this need before in this paragraph. So it should be, the need should be, the should be omitted, and it should be needs, because we do not only have one need. So it's a plural it's a plural noun, and if we did have one need, then it would have been a need or the need. All right. Also, let me look at the content a little bit more. So first, you have talked about this view. Now it is essential. They can find inner peace in economic growth, and also think luminous clothing. Alright, so this is good. You have talked about the first view, which is some people think that personal happiness is directly related to economic success. Alright, so let's go to your next paragraph. On the other hand, so this is a good transitional marker. So I'm marking all the transitional markers in green. Alright, we can see some people who think that happiness depends on different factors like relationship. It should be ships. Whenever we write any noun in English, for example, I like apple, it should not be I like apple, it should be I like apples, I like mangoes, not I like mango. Okay, so normally we always write in the plural. However, if it's a singular, of course, many sentences use the singular noun. For example, I have a pen, right? So it's a, if ever the noun is a singular, we always use an article, a, an, or the. So that's what I was talking about before in the first paragraph, definite and indefinite articles. Alright, so what was I going to say here? Use either the plural form of the noun or use an article before it. Always, it's a central grammatical rule in English. We cannot write in the singular in the singular noun without an article. Okay, on different factors like relationships between family and friends, good health, better grades, bonding with surrounding people, etc., etc. Again, one, etc. only, please. Oh, and another thing is that we have to give a dot after writing etc. Okay, so this is a good phrase. Let me mark it in blue. Nevertheless, so this is a transitional marker. Happiness varies from one person to another. From my perspective, this is another transitional marker. I, so it should obviously be in capitals. I prefer money or economic development because we are living in the modern society where people barely care about one another when they are in need. So there is no need for a comma here. It's redundant. It can lead us to a better life. So you mean money. Okay. Money is important to lead a happy and luxurious life. So there is a typo here, unfortunately. Also, where is the full stop? You have not mentioned any full stop. Okay. Through money, there should be a comma here. we can fulfill our basic needs and all sorts of comfort in life. Okay, so overall, language wise it's better than the first paragraph, but let me see from the content side. Was a good phrase, good transition. Okay, so you have given your own opinion in this paragraph, while also talking about the second view in the very same paragraph. So you have written only 41 words about the second view. So if I compare it to your first view, where you have written 81, so 81 and 41, almost half you've only written for the second view. So it's not a good balance. Okay, so you should ideally write similar number of words for each view. If you write, for example, 60 words for view 1, you shouldn't write more than 70 words for another, or less than 50 words for another. Alright. Okay, but besides that, this para should also be separate. Okay, so this is your own opinion. This is a separate task requirement. You should mention this in a completely separate paragraph. Okay, next. Before I go to next, it's also a transitional marker. Alright, but we do know that money can't buy happiness. Alright, so in conclusion there should be a comma here. In a conclusion also is a transitional marker, both so and in conclusion. This is also but normally I don't suggest my students to start with but in a formal essay. Okay, the bonding among family, including satisfaction, will help to achieve personal happiness. You shouldn't write contractions are informal. It's not the main factor where honors and pride. It should be honor. There is no plural for honor. Like if you have more honor than me, you do not have honors. Honors is a different thing. Honors is like a subject. Honor. Or you can write honor or your. And pride confer a person into a cheerful period, right? Into a cheerful period. Many priceless situations and love. So priceless is a good term. And love and happy moments that someone loses in exchange for money. Okay, so it's not a complete sentence. It's a dependent clause. Where is your verb? You haven't written a verb. Okay, many priceless situations and love and happy moments. You could have written are lost. Let me rephrase it. Are lost when some are lost in exchange for making money. Or you can write are lost in the pursuit of making money. That's a better sentence. But there are pros. Okay, so it's a transitional marker. And cons of this argument: economic success. It should be economic success, not economic. Economic success. And also economic success was written in the question, so you shouldn't use it. But if I think you've only used it once, so that's okay, I guess. Does not directly affect on, so it should be affect on is redundant. If you were to write effect, then directly have an effect on ... So effect is a noun, an affect, a The word that starts with A, that is a verb. Alright. On person happiness, so it should be personal. Personal happiness and other factors can't. It's also a contraction. Avoid contractions. Happiness always either. Even though money is the most important thing in our life, so even though is a transitional marker. It cannot be compared with the significance of love and care. Alright, so here you've actually gone opposed to your view that you gave in the last paragraph. So it's a very confusing task requirement. So you were supposed to give your own opinion. However, you've given your own opinion in this paragraph, in more than half of this paragraph, and then in this paragraph you have said that no, there could be another way to look at this because it's more important. Like, if it's more important, then why do you support it? So if you support like money can buy happiness, this view, then stick to that. Do not go to the other side. You can just say yes, some people think that money is not the most important thing. However, do not write so many lines on it because that devalues your opinion. Let's go to marking. So task response, up to this part your task response was good. However, for this paragraph your task response got confused. You have responded to the first task requirement about discussing both views. However, you have given mixed and or confusing answers to the second task requirement, which is giving your own opinion. So about coherence and cohesion, you've written only 3 paragraphs. I always suggest my students to write at least 4. Write at least 4 paragraphs. First para only intro, nothing more. Second para first view. Third para second view. Fourth para your opinion. Fifth para, which is optional, a very brief summary. There was another problem with your paragraphing. You did not dedicate entire paragraphs to specific task requirements. Use more linking devices. Yeah, so you have used some, but it's not it's not ideal. You should use even more. For example, in the first paragraph you used 1, the second you used 4, so that is okay. 4 is okay for this type of paragraph, but here you did use 4 here as well, but the ones that you used but, so that is not a good transition. So these are negative comments, unfortunately. This one is also negative, this one is positive. Lexical resource, you have used some good vocabulary items like inner peace, economic growth, bonding with surrounding people, okay, priceless. Good vocabulary but room for improvement. Use richer vocabulary items. Then this part is very important. You should paraphrase. use more synonyms and paraphrase more. Finally, grammatical range and accuracy. Let me count the number of grammatical mistakes you did. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not counting this. 5, 6, 7. I am also not counting this. 8, 9, 10, 11. Unfortunately, you've made 11 grammatical mistakes, which is a lot, but it's not that high. Okay, so don't get discouraged. And also, did you use, so there are two things in grammar: grammatical range and accuracy. So about accuracy, which is about the lack thereof of mistakes. So range is your variety of simple, complex and compound sentences. So have you used a variety? You have mostly used simple sentences, but this is a complex sentence. Good. Complex, but not a lot of complex sentences, only 2 in the 2 paragraphs. Okay, so you have not used many complex sentences. You used 1 for each paragraph only. Use many more complex sentences. Double the amount. For example, start sentences with if, the, with, etc. Let's go to marking. I'm sorry, I haven't opened the rubric yet. I have now. So let's start from grammatical range and accuracy. So I am torn between this and this, but I think I'm going to be giving you a 6 because I think you did better than a 5. 6. Okay, so lexical resource. I think a 7. You get a 7 in lexical resource. What about coherence and cohesion? You're not getting a good mark here. So I would want to give you a 6, but you also repeated your opinion, right? So it was not logical paragraphing, so I'm giving you a 5 here. So there needs to be another one. Use logical paragraphing. Do not just paragraph. Alright, so finally task response. You did not answer the second part completely. It was you get a 6. So overall I also think you get a 6. Yes. So my main comments to you: to be more careful about what you write and look carefully at this feedback. Alright, thank you.